Hi, I'm Nicholas from Ratings.com. Today we'll be looking at the Samsung The Frame 2024. It's part of Samsung's lifestyle TV lineup and is a unique product in their catalog. Its design is meant to look like a wall-mounted, framed art piece. You can even purchase different frames that go over the bezels to change the TV's look. You want a red frame, or would you rather it look like wood? It's completely up to you. Of course, it's still a TV and is meant to be watched, so how does it perform? Let's find out. We bought and tested the 65-inch model, and the results are also valid for the 55, 75, and 85-inch models. Note that the 43 and 50-inch models don't have VRR and are limited to a 60 Hz refresh rate. So that means gaming is different on the smaller sizes, but otherwise the picture quality is the same. This TV doesn't look like any other TV with the exception of its predecessor, the Frame 2022. While manufacturers are now in a race towards having the slimmest bezels possible, this TV's bezels are on the bigger side of things and actually protrude slightly, giving the TV a raised border. The reason for this is simple. It's a frame, like the name. When this TV is on the wall, you could very well think that it's an actual painting, especially with the TV's matte coating. It's a nice look and is one of the biggest selling points of this model. The TV is made entirely of plastic, so it doesn't feel super sturdy, but it's still solid overall. It comes with a set of plastic feet if you'd like to put it on a table or stand, and it also comes with Samsung's slim fit wall mount if you'd rather have it on a wall. The feet do their job, although there's a bit of wobble when the TV is pushed. Ultimately though, it's clear that this TV is meant to be wall mounted, and it even has a completely flat back, so you know it's flat against the wall. Speaking of flush against the wall, this TV comes with Samsung's One Connect box, or OCB, which is where all the TV's inputs are, and you could place it anywhere you like. It also helps cable management for an incredibly clean look. All the TV's ports are on the One Connect box, except for the OCB's connector itself and a USB-C port that is meant for servicing only. The box has 4 HDMI ports, but only one supports HDMI 2.1 that's capable of 4K up to 120 Hz. The third HDMI port doubles as an eARC port, which can pass through advanced audio formats from Dolby. Sadly, like other Samsung TVs, the Frame 2024 doesn't pass through any DTS audio formats. Aside from that, the OCB also has 2 USB 2.0 ports, a digital optical audio out port, and a LAN port. It even has an antenna connection with ATSC 1.0 support. The TV has a 2024 version of Samsung's popular Tizen OS smart platform. It feels great, it's fast, and on this model, you have access to Samsung's Art Store, through which you could download artwork to display on the TV. It comes with 50 paintings by default, and if that's not enough for you, just open a museum. Just kidding though. Actually, if you want to have more, you'll have to subscribe to their art service. Yes, another subscription service. Like all TVs, there are ads on it though, and you can't fully turn them off. This TV uses the same remote as every other modern Samsung TV, but it's white. It's still compact with very few buttons. It also has built-in voice control, so you can use its microphone to order the TV to change inputs, launch apps, or search for content. Plus, you could charge it with the solar panel on the back, or you could just plug it in with the USB-C port if you need a quick top-up. So, how's the picture quality on this thing? Well, it's fine. This TV doesn't have a local dimming feature, leading to mediocre contrast. In dim and dark scenes, blacks are deep, but they're raised and washed out when there are brighter highlights on the screen. No local dimming means no blooming around bright highlights or subtitles. It's not really a viable replacement for local dimming, but hey, we'll take it. Even without local dimming, there aren't any flicker or brightness changes as bright highlights move across the screen. When it comes to brightness, this TV's HDR Brightness is quite decent. It gets bright, but it's not enough for bright highlights to truly pop, especially without local dimming. Even in SDR, it gets bright enough to fight glare in most well-lit rooms. But the real star of the show here is the TV's matte coating, which does a fantastic job of eliminating almost any glare. It does spread reflections across the screen, impacting contrast negatively in the process, but overall, it looks very good. We weren't super positive about a similar coating on the Samsung S95D, but this isn't quite the same context, as the S95D is an ultra high-end model that competes against some of the best glossy coatings in the industry. On the other hand, the Frame 2024 is a less expensive model and doesn't compete against the same class of TVs. For how this TV is meant to be used, the matte coating is a nice touch that makes it look like a painting. Surprisingly, the viewing angle is pretty mediocre. It really affects the TV's art mode since pieces of art look dim and washed out when viewed from an angle. The last time I went to a museum, I don't recall paintings looking washed out when I viewed them from the side. It's not a good TV for wide seating arrangements or hosting large painting viewing parties either. When it comes to SDR color accuracy, the Frame 2024 is alright, but nothing special. You can expect your favorite paintings, like Van Gogh's Starry Night, to be even bluer than you remember. Everything leans a bit colder, but if that bothers you, you can always get the TV calibrated. Thankfully, this TV is way more accurate in HDR than in SDR, as it has excellent PQ EOTF tracking. Like most LED TVs, near blacks are raised and most scenes afterwards are slightly too dark, but overall, it follows the curve pretty closely. The TV also preserves some bright details when it's near its peak brightness due to a gradual roll-off with all mastered content. This TV uses quantum dot technology, so it has a very good color gamut. Not as good as what we often see on Samsung TVs, but yeah, still very good. Its coverage of the DCI-P3 color space, which is used in most HDR content, is outstanding, but some colors are undersaturated. Its coverage of the wider Rec 2020 color space is only okay, but almost all colors are undersaturated and off the mark in that space. Moving on to processing, this TV is surprisingly decent. Its low quality content smoothing is satisfactory. It does a very good job of keeping detail, but there's still noticeable macro blocking in dark scenes. But if you love watching low bitrate content, you could do much worse than this TV. Its upscaling performance is also good. Text is a bit blurry and finer details can be hard to make out, but it manages to preserve some finer detail when upscaling lower resolution content. We finished the holy trinity of image processing with a particular strength of Samsung lately. It's HDR Gradient processing. We're happy to say that it's outstanding. There's no banding in any colors except dark grays, bright greens, and bright blues. But even with those, the banding is barely noticeable unless you really look for it. Overall, the processing on this TV is solid. Like most TVs, it uses pulse width modulation, or PWM, to dim its backlight. It flickers at a fast 960Hz in the movie picture mode, but all other picture modes, including game mode, flicker at a much slower 120Hz, which can cause image duplications or headaches if you're sensitive to flicker. If you're watching movies with a Blu-ray player, streaming box, or are using built-in apps, this TV can remove Judder from all sources. When it comes to the response time, this TV is truly excellent. Yeah, you heard us right. Want to play some fast-paced games on your art TV? Do it, because it'll look great. It doesn't perform as well with darker content, but in bright, lighter scenes, this TV is truly excellent. Plus, its input lag is very good, so overall this TV is extremely responsive. It's even capable of displaying Chroma 444 properly with low input lag. Unfortunately, 1440p at 60Hz doesn't work while in game mode. But if you stay away from that resolution and refresh rate combo, this TV has very low input lag. The Frame 2024 supports most common resolutions up to 4K at 120Hz on its one HDMI 2.1 port. We did experience occasional black screens in 4K at 120Hz when the TV is connected to a PC with an NVIDIA graphics card though. This TV is fully compatible with almost everything the current gen consoles offer, including 4K at 120Hz, HDMI 4 and VRR, and FreeSync Premium Pro. It also supports auto low latency mode, so you don't have to worry about switching to game mode to get the lowest input lag. Unfortunately, 1440p at 120Hz doesn't work when connected to an Xbox, but it does work on the PS5. Dolby Vision isn't supported on the TV either, which is disappointing if you have an Xbox. Lastly, let's check out the speakers, which are pretty mediocre. This isn't unusual on a TV, but on this one, it just feels like a missed opportunity. Putting a soundbar below could ruin the whole look if you want to have it just on the wall and look like a piece of art. It can't produce much bass, but the sound profile is well balanced enough that dialogue is clear at moderate listening levels. Unfortunately, the TV doesn't get very loud, and there are noticeable artifacts and distortion at the max volume. So, should you buy this TV? It depends on what you're looking for. This is a really unique TV. It physically looks great and doubles as home decor, especially with the matte finish. It looks amazing on a wall due to its flat back, and it has a versatile One Connect box for a tidy setup. Plus, it's super customizable thanks to the Art Store and interchangeable frame pieces. It also performs well overall, as it's bright enough to deal with well-lit rooms. As for gamers, it's surprisingly good. Still, if we're solely evaluating this TV on the basis of performance, then it's not worth the money, as many other models perform better than the Frame 2024 for a similar price. But if you're specifically looking for an aesthetically pleasing TV for a nice look in your living room, there isn't anything quite like this at the time of this video. However, Hisense announced in April 2024 a new addition to their lineup called the Canvas TV. It's meant to be a direct competitor to the Frame that should cost less. We'll definitely be reviewing it and likely comparing it directly to the Frame, so make sure to hit that subscribe button for those future videos. Otherwise, you can consider the ultra high-end Samsung S95D OLED. If you really wish you could get a TV like the Frame, but with better performance, then this is the extremely expensive alternative. It has a near infinite contrast thanks to its OLED panel, and it's also incredibly bright, and it's so colorful you'll see colors you didn't even know existed. It also has a matte coating, a One Connect box, and a completely flat back, so it's the closest thing to the Frame 2024 that you can get. Sadly, it doesn't look like Samsung's Art Store is currently available on the S95D, although it does come with some images that you could cycle through for a screensaver. You also can buy replacement colors for its bezels. Hey, the S95D is more expensive for sure, but you're getting much more for your money. But if you aren't concerned with performance and you just want that unique look, the Frame 2024 will do just fine. And that's all for the review of the Samsung The Frame 2024. If you want a more detailed write-up on the TV, check out a written review on the website. The link is in the description below. Until next time, I'm Nicholas from Ratings.com, where we help you find the best products for your needs. Ciao. No local dimming means no blooming around C 1.0. A digital audio optical output. Oh my god, now it's a different word. This the same thing happened this morning with Q&A. It was this word, digital optical audio output. Okay, I got this. The last time I went to a museum, I don't recall paintings look.